So part of my job involves me answering phones and talking to people and solving their problems with things, and a very common thing happens due to my high-pitched voice. Now obviously I don't identify my gender over the phone to these strangers because there's no need for that, but a lot of times people will just say things like, "Yes ma'am," or whatever, because I do have a very feminine sounding voice over the phone. That's not the interesting thing. You might have thought that was the interesting thing, but it's not. It's not the interesting thing. The interesting thing is when this phone call continues and the people I'm talking to realize that they made an error and that I am in fact a male, and they get hyper apologetic about it. Which is just plain silly, first of all, but second of all, it's understandable because in the past I have let that offend me very deeply. According to society, being a girly man is one of the worst things that you can be, and that is something that is instilled in us from a very early age. And it's not like our parents are directly conditioning us with this whole thing, but it's everywhere. It's in the media, it's at school all the time. Being called a girl is an insult. And like, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. Like, it's to the point where I was reading an article about a new fad called broga, which is yoga for bros. And no, it's not any different from regular yoga, it's just for bros, so they have to change the name and make it manlier, because anything with a slight hint of femininity is awful. Listen, when people say things about my feminine aspects, I'm flattered because I think girls are great. I think girls are really, really great, and if I'm like a girl in some way, awesome, because girls are super dope. But the broga thing is just it's so dumb. See also bromance, manscaping, things that are typically viewed as feminine, but we have to put like a guy moniker on it to make it okay for dudes. And it's seemingly harmless, and bromance can be kind of a funny thing when you think about it, but it's just the ideas behind it that's kind of problematic. Hey, guys out there, for those of you who might be bullying people at school, first of all, don't. And second of all, definitely don't use girl or girly as an insult, because it's not. I've seen so many posts saying things along the lines of, if there's an insult, flip it around, flip the genders, and if it is ridiculous, it's probably misogynistic, and that's pretty on point with this one. It's not nearly as common seeing girls make fun of each other by calling them manly. It happens, it's definitely a thing, but it's not nearly as common or as severe. What is more common is girls calling each other things like bitch and things like that. Negative female things. Listen, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I am trying to tell you that girl is not an insult, and being a girly man is not somehow a less than version of masculinity. It's just a different kind of version of being a person, because guess what? People come in shades of gray. It's not like a box. Shocker. So yeah, at times I am a girly man, and over the phone, I have a feminine sounding voice. But here's the thing. That's awesome. I like that. If all dudes were the same, life would be hecka boring. If all girls were the same, life would be hecka boring. If people who don't fall on that spectrum were all the same, life would be hecka boring. Just let people be people, and don't use identities as insults. It's that simple, because that's stupid. That's pretty much all I gotta say about that. A little ranty today, but yeah, had some feels about that. Had some feels. As always, I'd like to hear what you guys have to think in the comments, because you're excellent people in the comments. But yeah. As always, I'm Connor Manning. You've just become a little more awesome, and I will see you guys on Friday. Just gonna like sparkle a bit. That's how I've been feeling. If I were to pick one adjective about how I feel about myself recently, it's sparkly. So there's that. I'm gonna go sparkle.